Another big one. Astralis are going to be now stepping onto the stage, the grand stage here at the Dome for the CORSAIR DreamHack Masters Marseille. Up against them, it is the star-studded roster of FaZe. Hardest hitters in the game. Now they're going to try to operate without Olofmeister, previously known as the world's best player, unfortunately unable to attend and unable to play with the FaZe roster due to personal issues and therefore exist. Ex-Ninja, in-game leader, stepping in and trying to fill that void. It's a huge void at that, and that is why this quarterfinal is going to be so much fun. I'm your host, Machine, for the entirety of the show, and I'm joined by two lovely chaps. In fact, we swapped one out for an even more handsome version. We have Sean Gares now joining us instead of the rugged, homeless guy who was here before, and we have Janko Paunovic, as always, a pillar of professionalism. I'm looking forward to this one. This is going to be good. First port of call, gentlemen, is why I ask you, why will this game be one of the best of the day, Sean?
Well, we have FaZe, who previously was probably the best team in the world coming into this year. We're on a hot streak. Obviously, Olaf had his injury. Yeah. We have Exist stepping in. We don't know where they're gonna, pick up with Exist. This is really his first test on FaZe. And shockingly, he's actually the only person on FaZe that has a major right now, I think. So it's really interesting to see how they pan out. Astralis, in my opinion, the best team in the world right now, but I'm only going off of online results. That's kind of sketchy, I know, but I think this is the tournament they prove it.
So, I mean, Janko can probably give you some words of advice. As someone that's been doing this a long time, Janko, you tend to go, potentially, that's a nice word you tend to add before you start saying world's best team.
Yeah, absolutely, especially in a scenario like this where Astralis hasn't really played many LAN games ever since Katowice. So I think for them, it's a case of, yes, they can, prove it here, but it's always difficult to translate that potential. And also for Astralis, they're such a structured team, such an organized team, that they're always going to have, or very rarely are they going to perform poorly online. A lot of other teams, they lose some discipline where they play online games, where it seems like Astralis are playing at the same high level we see them online.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we are going to quickly bring up the bracket to explain why this is the quarterfinal, because FaZe, they haven't had an untarnished record so far. In fact, we were talking about their game earlier when Cloud9 were playing, and they fell to the North Americans. You can see there in the bracket, okay, you can't quite see it. I thought we were going to see it all, excuse me. But yes, Cloud9 played versus FaZe, and it was a 2-0 in favor of the North Americans. This is who they'll be meeting as well if they get through. The winner of this meets the winner of NIP versus Fnatic, a domestic derby for the Swedes. But that's kind of the only real evidence we have of FaZe's form, and it was a loss to Cloud9 so far, Sean.
Yeah, Cloud9 doesn't look all that hot after watching them play Gambit just now, right?
Beat FaZe.
Yeah, so we really don't know what to make out of FaZe right now. We don't know, I mean, FaZe's only win so far against Envious, right? They beat Envious in a best of 1, and then they knocked Envious out in a best of 3. So we have really nothing to judge FaZe on right now.
Holy hell, I hadn't quite realized just how little we know about FaZe. I mean, we've seen some online games which I'm not going to have to tell you that we have to take with not even a pinch of salt, a bucket of salt. And so now, I guess with this game is going to be the answer to so many questions of what FaZe do we get for this 6 months, however long, without Olaf.
I think you can still learn a good amount about FaZe, even the Envious game, but also from the loss against Cloud9, because you could see that they're making some uncharacteristic mistakes, especially in, anti-forced buy, anti-eco rounds, which have been a problem for them, throughout the tenure of the team. But I think even more so now that they have Exist and things aren't fully coordinated, so to speak. And against a team that's as disciplined as Astralis, they have even less room to make those mistakes.
Yes, and before we get into all of the gritty details, do not forget, if you want even more from CORSAIR DreamHack Masters Marseille, you can get all of the extras over at dreamhack.com/digital pass. It enables you to have like a multi-view experience. If you're a die-hard Guardian fanboy, but you really want to see what's going on with Device, you can do so with the digital pass. The link is just on your screen there if you fancy it. That's in a collaboration with Snipe. Those guys have been doing content with Chad as well if you want to see some exclusive content. And with all of that said, while we are painting quite a bleak picture of FaZe, we have to start making it clear that their opponent is, like you said, well, in your eyes, world's best team. They have looked fantastic with Magisk.
Yeah, they're just such a deep squad, right? They have such a varied range map pool. Like, they could pick, 4 different maps right now against FaZe and be fine. Yeah. And I actually love their innovation. They never get stale. So my wife is here, and I was here working the day. Ashaw's back at the hotel.
Yeah.
They gathered around at the pool and were watching the stream live. I mean, that's kind of shocking that a team that's been as long, like together for as long as Astralis is still, getting together and watching the games.
Honestly, what's shocking to me is that they went to the pool. Usually they do it in the room.
Yeah.
Just a change of scenery.
It was probably Zonic just sitting there like, you need some sunshine, young men. Get out of that practice room and we're going to do it by the pool. But yes, we'll talk more about this. We'll certainly start breaking it down. But first, let's get this quarterfinal started and take a closer look at how they got here with the teams.
Making the playoff was kind of our first goal of this tournament. I think everybody knows we're here to win, but you always need to make the first step, and that is getting to the arena.
Now it's all on Nico, 1 versus 3. He's gonna get one more headshot. He's got a minute. Just hoping that they don't peek at the same time. Good, spotted out, long range tap, gets the headshot now. Tarek on the other side, oh my God! Nico taking down another quad kill.
After the game against C9, we talked together in the team and tried to fix the small mistakes within that game for the next day. And here we are in the playoff now.
It's really great to leave the group stage. I feel like we have prepared a lot for this tournament and now it's come to fruition.
Oh, with the smoke and the flashes starting to rain in onto the site. Their worst fears have been realized. Astralis are here. They are taking names, they are taking headshots.
The last game against Liquid went really well. The last 2 maps was pretty straightforward, so now we are confident. We have waited a long time for playing this tournament, so it feels very great to be in the playoffs. I'm really excited to play in the arena. I hope we have some French fans in there.
I'm pretty excited to play in front of the France audience. We have never played in France before in front of a big audience. So I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to see what they got in store for us.
I'm really looking forward to the next game. I'm wishing my opponents the best of luck, but we're going to take this game.
We're going to take the game as all other games in the playoff. I think there's no big difference. The big difference is that we are on the stage now and this is where we feel the most comfortable.
Hard hitters all around. Please welcome them to the stage. Astralis and FaZe Clan. Marseille, you are wonderful. Players certainly feeling welcome. On one side of the stage stand FaZe Clan. Kerrigan, we heard from him before, and admittedly we haven't seen enough from FaZe. We haven't seen what has been, and they're not wrong when they say hard work pays off, because you've seen just how hard Astralis have been grinding, Yanko. We've seen them talk about their practice regimen. We've seen them trying to almost lead the way and be a pathfinder for professionalism in Counter-Strike, and well, so far so good. That Liquid game was a statement.
It absolutely translated into their performance at this tournament so far, Alex. In the top 10, statistically, they have all 5 players. You know, that's almost unprecedented, really. Glaive being the second highest one for the team. So I also think that's not going to continue in this game because, you know, if that's the case, then FaZe doesn't really stand a chance if all 5 players are firing on all cylinders. But I think that's just a testament to how comfortable they are playing with each other now and how much confidence they have coming into this quarterfinal game.
I think I just saw Zipnix with tape, and I think that is the gorilla mouse bungee that he brings to every event. He just brings a big black roll of tape, that's it. He was telling me about that before. He's just like, right, there we go. Bungee brought, and it's easy to travel with.
Whatever works.
Yeah, whatever works. Now, maps. Let's start the real conversation here, Sean. We know FaZe Clan's map pool is going to be severely hamstrung because of the loss of Olof. Astralis seem to play everything. This must be a rather one-sided affair in terms of winning the veto.
Yeah, it's weird. Before this tournament started, I would have said FaZe would have picked Cash, right? They're such a strong Cash team. Their CT side's locked down. They always can fall back on a really strong T side, actually. Kerrigan calls a great T side Cash. But after watching Astralis play Cash, I don't think they're going to go there. I think they might go the Mirage side because every game Astralis plays on Mirage is a close game. And when you play a skilled team like FaZe, you know you're going to get that close game, and you think you can win maybe the clutch scenarios, you know?
Why don't you walk us through it, Yanko? I think it's about to pop up.
Yeah, the interesting one is always Sydney 2017, the whole cobblestone, you know, charade with who's going to pick it, who's going to ban it. We'll see what happens this time around, and both teams go for the scare, really letting it through. You can see FaZe going for the overpass veto, Astralis going for the cash veto, and none of them really picked the map. And even though they were teasing online on Twitter that, you know, they've been practicing cobblestone, we get Mirage, Nuke, and Inferno. And this was another interesting thing I was going to bring up, is does Astralis go for Nuke? Because with this lineup, they had a lot of success on the map against, you know, FaZe, who is a team that still isn't as practiced, relies more on individual skill. If you have a correct game plan, if you set it up properly on Nuke, when you play the CT side, you can really minimize the chance for your opponents to win duels. You know, you can play more passive angles, passive positions, and I think that would prove to be a problem for FaZe in a matchup like this.
Absolutely. So we've seen Nuke. This will be the first Nuke we see in Marseille, I believe, unless this is when it happened on the secondary stream on day 1. I don't think we've seen it a single time. And we are bringing up FaZe Clan. You can see their head-to-heads, and admittedly, they haven't gone fantastically. Bearing in mind, there was a loss to Cloud9. I think it's just in the wrong column. But yes, Envious has been their only adversary so far that they have successfully taken down.
Wow, I can't believe the way the veto, it's like such a 200 IQ veto that they both just left Cobble in. And I especially love the fact that FaZe vetoed Overpass, because that is where I thought Astralis had a massive edge against FaZe. So this veto worked so well for FaZe.
And actually, you actually think Astralis made the mistake of vetoing Cash over Mirage, right? Because that would have probably been the choice for FaZe, and also they've had such a strong performance against Liquid on the map, on Cash, that would have probably steered FaZe away from it. And I think this is again a situation where who picks or bans first is very important, because that eventually forced FaZe into vetoing Cobble themselves in the second phase, because Astralis had the last pick.
Yeah, maybe Exist is going to be getting some lessons from Carrigan on how to veto during this tenure with FaZe. That's going to be a lot of fun. You can see focusing on his fragging, Exist standing in. And actually, I wouldn't mind talking about him just while he has been on our screens, Yanko. We had the lucky, fortunate opportunity to actually see his very first couple of games over in the Pro League, and it didn't go well. It has seemed to be a bit of a gradual increase, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was horrible. And I think talking to, you know, the players, they were also like, yeah, when we started out, we were like, is this the right call and everything? But already after a week or so, when they got more practice in, it started, you know, leaning towards the better. People need to understand this. There's no player in the world, perhaps potentially Shox, who is available, who could do what Olaf did for that team to even close of a level, because he was so instrumental on the T side. He had the key roles for mid-round decision-making, mid-round playmaking, because that's how good Olaf is. He has such good game sense that you put him on a place of a critical point in the map and the rest of the team is doing something else. He can really deliver and swing the course of a round by his play. Also on the CT side, some difficult roles, you know, playing B on train, for example.
Yeah, and in contrast, as we take a look at Astralis, there's a player that you probably wouldn't expect to be talking about when it comes to fragging, but Glaive had such a mad game just to get themselves here.
Yeah, he just kept entering bomb sites and just getting entry frags. Just non-stop. He had some huge key rounds for Astralis so far this tournament, and he's going to have to continue it in this series if they want to advance at this point.
Yeah, they did come through scot-free, didn't really have too much trouble with that Liquid game, admittedly lost the first map and then just walked through the rest of the series. A Space Soldiers result you have to take again with a pinch of salt, as the Turkish side did not show up today, or rather this week. Dupree, though, I think he is definitely going to be my player to watch. I don't normally get to play that game, but I will, just because you can see just how instrumental he was, especially on Overpass.
And something that's very interesting about Astralis is, you know, in 2017, they were a bit too fundamental, to a point where people would count on them always making the most logical move, and it started hindering them. The way FaZe started beating them in 2017 is they would throw caution out the wind and really just make some ballsy plays, whether it was pushing through the smokes or even when it was a low buy, they would take some really heavy risks and basically catch Astralis off guard. And you can see this Astralis with Magisk, they're aware of it. They go for some crazy plays themselves, right? When you think they're just going to play it cool and play the fundamental game, really, that's when they go for something crazy, leave a bit more room for guys like Device that you see on your screen, or Magisk to go for some of those X-factor plays, and that really makes them more unpredictable than they were in 2017.
Yeah, and look, you can see by his stats, admittedly all their stats slightly inflated, but Magisk has been, I think he's the same kind of comparison you could draw to that of like Exist when it came to integrating into the team. It took a while, and it still is taking them both time. I do think Astralis are leading the pack in terms of getting that player and that team comfortable. Who did we interview? We spoke to them about it. It was Device. Device was talking about how everyone is in a really good place right now. Sean, could you talk as to what players mean when they say like our game feels good or we're feeling like we're doing what we're supposed to do? I mean, it just feels very generic, sweeping statements. Could you?
Yeah, he's probably just getting into the aspect of, you know, when they play online right now, everyone is contributing. They're dominating rounds. It doesn't feel like, you know, oh, I should have got that kill and that's why we lost that round. Right. I highly doubt that's happening for Astralis right now. And every round when I watch them has a structure to it and an idea behind it. And that's kind of what Yanko is saying is, it's so structured that it does guess their next moves. You'd love it,
Sean. You'd be sitting there like, hang on, I know what that flashbang means.
But it looks gorgeous, and it just goes to show how much work they put into their game.
Yeah, and I think, you know, at this stage of our analysis and our pre-match rather, I think I'd like to start talking a bit about why Astralis' structure is not only catching your eye, but why we're going to hopefully see more of it in this series. What are you looking forward to seeing? We're going to see more of those HE strats. Device just kept hinting that they've got a lot to show.
Yeah, they do. I mean, even in some of the games in Pro League, like the one against Fnatic that you and me casted, you could see some very cool executes on overpass, some very fast splits where, you know, by the smokes that you throw the default smokes, the smoke for toilet, right, that forces the opponent to reposition. And by you knowing what that smoke makes your opponent do, what's the most logical move they can make, you use that to basically just navigate them into where you really want them. So they force the A players to fall back. That gets the rotator to slowly move from B to A, from B to A, yeah, and they go down connector fast, combine it with Monster, and suddenly they're on the B side, and they're just overwhelmed. And you're thinking, my teammate just called a smoke falling 3-4 seconds ago. They're already like pushing towards, you know, graffiti or whatever. How is that even possible? And it all just stems from them having great use of utility, knowing the timings and knowing the tendencies of people.
It is so cloak and dagger, and I'm afraid, Yanko, I'm going to keep poking you for this monologue because you did provide us with 3 reasons.
Yeah, I provided 3 reasons why. This is actually a great rivalry that we have between Astralis and FaZe. First, and probably the most obvious one, is Kerrigan playing versus his old team. There's always something, there's always a little bit of a grudge match because he was benched in Astralis in favor of Glaive, and then he moved on to FaZe. And also Kerrigan, you know, sometimes being criticized for his calls in high-pressure situations, that doesn't seem to happen against Astralis. He feels always super confident regardless of the results, so that might give them a little bit of a boost in this particular game. The second reason is definitely the clash of styles. Like we mentioned briefly, you know, the structured style of Astralis, even if they're trying to adjust, and the flamboyant style of FaZe, relying on guys like Nico, Guardian, and Ray now, mostly with all of Meister gone, to make big plays. And that's going to be especially relevant when it comes to Device versus Guardian. I don't think Fallen is ever going to forget the quarterfinal game in Krakow and how Device shut him down on overpass. Guardian is a similar type of an opera, likes to go for those plays, likes to be aggressive, while Device is more passive and plays the percentages. And last but not least, really, is the mind games. That applied a bit more to DeVito, and you saw how it realized. But again, talking about the whole Kerrigan situation and how Astralis has been on the losing side in this rivalry for the better part of 2017, there's always a bit of flavor, a bit of spice, a bit of X factor when it comes to these two teams playing each other.
Absolutely. Now, with that all said, and that's got me really ready to go now, I need predictions. I need to know who you think's taking this one. I admit you seem to be very kind of flying that Astralis flag, Sean, but I need to hear why.
So I was actually really scared when I saw the videos, right? Because I don't think Astralis is going to take Mirage. I think this is a 3-map series.
Okay.
Because I have to side with Astralis on Nuke. They obviously have something up their sleeve there. Going to the Nuke pick is a little bit dangerous, especially against a high-skill team like FaZe. We saw what they did at the Major on Nuke. But the 3rd map is Inferno, and I've always thought FaZe has a notorious problem of sitting and waiting behind smokes too much, and that's just Astralis' style. They're 3-0 in their last games against FaZe on Inferno. I'm taking Astralis 2-1.
God damn, I want that Inferno 3rd map. Yanko, what have you got for me?
Yeah, those Inferno 3rd maps really have been legendary. I was also leaning towards Astralis. I was expecting, you know, them to go for the punish Vito Mirage and get cash, and I thought, you know, FaZe is not as convincing on cash as they were before. But now with Mirage into play, I'm really torn here. I want to say Astralis because of the way they've looked and they're more structured and everything. There's more consistency in it. but I'm going with, you know, empiric evidence of past experiences, which is FaZe, for whatever the reason, in this particular rivalry, always step it up, and Astralis don't always deliver, so I'm going with FaZe in this one.
My goodness. FaZe, you know what? Get to Inferno, and can I just have, I don't care, we all win? Would that be good?
I think that counts for something.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I will probably lean towards Astralis just because the fact that they are still innovating in a game this old, with a team and a roster that's, you know, as a core, this old, they're still coming up with new things. I love it. And the fact that they did strats by the pool. I like that as well. So yes, that's going to be my prediction. And I think before we do jump into this one, I just want to practice some French with you guys. I'm going to teach you both a word for the guys in the crowd here in Marseille.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to teach you how to say bird. I used to like this one in school. L'oiseau.
L'oiseau.
Same?
L'oiseau.
L'oiseau.
Okay, so we can say budgie now. I'm going to teach you a new word every time, just because I have to kill an extra 10 seconds. All right,
Thank you,
wonderful.
Alex.
There we go. L'oiseau. So let's go, or as we say in France, on y va, and let's jump into this one with your casters. They are standing by, and they are oh so handsome.
I didn't know you spoke French, Alex.
I speak about 4 words,
That's
Henry.
amazing. L'oiseau.
L'oiseau. And
Beautiful.
Thank you. I've been working on it for a while. I didn't even check it on Google. I probably said the wrong thing. Don't tell them. They can't hear me now, so that's good. All right, guys. We just basically said that nuke feels like a curveball. We don't see, none of the other analysts here see Astralis taking that first map, and therefore, hopefully, you get that third
Yeah,
map.
I think it comes down to Mirage, really. If Astralis can somehow win this one on Mirage, it feels like Nuke's going to be a lock-in for them. 2-0 definitely on the cards. I think it still is going to be the best game of the day. The rivalry is amazing. Obviously, FaZe, not 100% of his disc coming in. I think that's understandable. He's not the player Olaf is. They're trying to make it work. Do you feel like FaZe could do this in the first map to kick things off, or is it going to be a bit of a damn squib in the end?
I feel like they could do it, but if I'm basing it off the performances that we've seen so far this event, and really that's all I can go off, because obviously both teams have someone, well, I'm not saying Magisk is super new, but he's relatively new to their roster.
Yeah.
I think they can, but I'd have to edge with Astralis, man. They've just been playing so well consistently over this event, whereas obviously FaZe had a hiccup against Cloud9.
I think there's 2 very important players to look at on Mirage on either side, right? So if you think about the B-bomb side in general, for Astralis, we have Zipex playing there, one of the best anchors we have within the game. It's not a weakness, it's a strong arms. And if you look over to FaZe, they've got Karrigan in that B side, and most teams try and exploit the fact that he's inside there. I feel like that's going to be a massive factor. The B-bomb side is something that FaZe need to look after, make sure the Guardian's going over there and almost babysitting that part of the map and showing presence to make sure that Karrigan doesn't get bullied on that side of the map with his rifle. But either way, it looks like we're almost ready to start things here. We'll be FaZe starting the CT side. As you can see, a star-studded affair here, Vince. If I had to ask you for one player to look for on the Astralis side, who would you be going for?
I think I'd go for Magisk because of how well he's been playing so far this event. Now, sure, a lot of those amazing moments were on Inferno, and we're realistically not going to see that, but I still want to see what he brings to the table. This is a guy that was so hot, and then he kind of went cold for a while. Now he's back again.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. This has been billed as the best game of the day. Astralis versus FaZe, and it will look like a B-sided attack, maybe even a rush here. They will slow things down, and it will be Magisk to go in first. They've got 1 smoke, 2 flashbangs. This could be a straight-up contact play. Like I said, Karrigan alone in the B side. He does get a great grenade. Does about 100 damage there, and now he needs to find kills, and he's living up to expectations here. Takes down Dupree, and the bomb still going to be planted, but Karrigan's applying the pressure.
That grenade was absolutely devastating, and now Karrigan's just going to be landing headshots left, right, and center. Will go down, but the damage surely has been inflicted to Astralis. Only have Device left now. Magisk is going to bite it, courtesy of Exist. Device hiding behind the van. There is a kit in the hands of Guardian. Going to tickle a bomb, try and draw Device out, give his position away, and there we have it. Guardian connects the headshot. Astralis off to a bomb plant, but FaZe will claim the first round.
What a brilliant play from Karrigan. You get to see him expecting events. The fact he's got an HE grenade on the pistol suggests he knows that's coming. He's been watching the demos. He knows their tendencies and what they like to do. HE grenade on the CT pistol, lands about 100 damage, 2 headshots that come out. I called it out as a weakness. It seems like it's strong in the pistol at least. 1-0 FaZe, bomb planted, and look at this, more mind games coming in. Astralis got 4 HE grenades. They're going to nade the window. Are they going to use a smoke? Nade the window, and there could be 2 kills coming up here, Vince. This could actually be a nightmare. Here they come, the airstrike, tactical nukes coming in! Both kills landing. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a lot of fun. Both in-game leaders prepared for what the opposition are presenting. And now we have a 4 versus 3. The problem is that the weapons are out of reach right now, and Karrigan knows it. He wants to try and protect them right now.
It's exactly what Yanko was talking about. The
Yes.
mind games, the rivalry. Poised perfectly to be an epic confrontation. FaZe aren't out this just yet, though. Firepower-wise, they're still looking good. Astralis have no Kevlar. Just P250s and Glocks are about to push out onto B. Carrigan is laid in wait. He's going to hear the footsteps right now with his M4. He's going to need to silence as many players as possible in quick succession. He is stalling long enough for his teammate to come in. That's going to be Nico. And the two of them are laying down the terrorists. It's already been very costly, though, for FaZe, considering the lack of a purchase, but they've got it done.
The thing is, though, Vince, remember, they get the bomb down in the pistol right now. They just found 3 kills on a full eco. This is looking amazing for Astralis. They're going to buy up now, and it's going to be a hamstrung. FaZe coming in here with the grenades. 4 of them! That was so much fun. One of them didn't even make it in. That's so cool. Well, there it is. Perfectly played by Astralis. They didn't get the plant. Unfortunately, we're going to have to slow down the action. Looks like we've got a pause coming in. This was just building up to get very exciting indeed. We can have a look at the buys, though. You can see 4 M4A4s for FaZe. Carrigan the MP7. They have actually got a pretty decent buy here. Just cost them a lot. They're not going to have residual cash if they lose this round, and Astralis know it. So I'll have a little look as to what's going on. Looks like we're actually back into the action pretty much straight away. No one's left. It looks like we're calling for a continue straight away, so I think we're fine. So just to reiterate, Astralis, with bomb down and pistol, can now buy up in the third, and this is when you want to be focusing on the areas you found kills. So if you can get towards middle, you know there's no AWP there for sure. Like Guardian just can't afford one after going down in the previous round. Maybe go those AKs towards a default. You could go for a fast execution, hoping they haven't got a full plethora of utility, maybe not have the incendiaries, maybe a couple of kits are missing. Try and get the bomb down as quick as possible. Many different options. We are here in beautiful Marseille, and fans have turned up in impressive fashion, I would say. Actually looks pretty packed in the house there as we are getting into our third quarter final. It's all building up for this semis tomorrow and indeed that grand final. Shame we didn't make any French teams see an appearance, but overall, I feel like we've got some great teams here. Shout out to Gambit as well with the game we just watched. That was fantastic from them.
I think we had 2 results today that many people wouldn't have expected. We had Mousesports getting beaten by Na'Vi and Gambit reigning over Cloud9. And even though the first map was very close in the overtime, they could have finished that sooner. It could have actually been super one-sided. So we're going to have the Na'Vi Gambit semi-finals. We've got this matchup, and then we have another epic next, the Swedish rivalry of Fnatic against NIP.
It's going to be so fun as well. Sure, Fnatic are the favourites going to that one, but those derbies, they lead to some weird results. We saw G2, like they normally crash out against MVS, which happened in this actual tournament. So derbies are a different game altogether, especially on the stage. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But ladies and gentlemen, we are back into this one. It will be the AKs, like I said, Device taking a Khalil instead. And we'll see whether Carrigan and his MP7 can hold off towards that B side. I do expect a B and mid focus coming through here. We'll see if Guardian can hold them off for now. First interaction coming in, and it will be Glaive to find the first kill. Takes down Exist 5 on 4. He does take a lot of damage there. He's still walking wounded at this point, 4 HP. But Nico trying to answer back, not going to happen.
That's a kill that Exist should be landing, though. He had that spray all around Glaive. But both Device and Glaive, although they picked up kills, they're both exceptionally low. Rain, Guardian, Carrigan, especially after the last 2 rounds have been very close and they've been losing players, taking casualties. This is going to start to stack up now. Even if they were to somehow win this round, they're going to be battered and they're going to be bruised. Guardian will finish off Glaive. And now Astralis decide to push the B site. Bomb should be getting planted momentarily. Guardian is going to try and see if he can maybe get a kill in exchange. Not going to happen. In doing so, FaZe at this point, they're going to save.
They really have to. Those grenade kills in the previous round really cost them a lot of money. Carrigan and Rain to save the M4A4s. They're pretty much double eco at this point, right, Vince? So they're going to have to use the M4s, maybe purchase CZ's armor around them. There's still a viable chance of winning the next round, but this was very well played by Astralis. Like I said, just a pretty standard default towards middle. Try and challenge anyone coming towards that window. It was Exist versus Glaive there. And like you said, in the open, Glaive was alone with no backup. I thought he was going down for sure. 4 HP, and he still will find that kill. And then Device with the kill. That's out-dueled Nico in the connector, so very well played to him. Not exactly an ideal weapon to go toe-to-toe with one of the world's best. But there it is, the first round for Astralis. Rain and Carrigan do save their M4s, and we'll just note the utility. 2 HE grenades, 2 flashbangs, no kits. And Guardian and Exist do have 3K. So the options here, take a bit of a smaller investment to CZ, some body armor, save the cash. And no, they're not going to listen to that at all. They want to get stuck into this round. It's actually okay. They're going to get 2 for masses, a CZ, 2 M4s in the end. So here we go then, round number 4. Big one for FaZe. They can pull this one back. That'd be fantastic. Looks like the A execution coming in from Astralis. You can see them all posted outside the A bomb site. Bit of presence towards middle. Consistency is key. You want to keep throwing the same smokes that you would on a standard. You've got the smoke in the window, one towards short. They don't want to suggest it's a straight off A attack. And here we go. The final commitment from Astralis.
Rain alongside Nico in shadow. They're definitely about to get pushed. The smoke's going to go in the eyes of Nico. He's going to bide his time and wait because the rest of his team are being slaughtered around him, but they're going to spray straight in. They're not taking any chances. And Astralis will be moving very likely to a 2-2. With FaZe being destroyed, they have no chance of even getting a kill now.
You can see why Shawnee G is such a big fan of Astralis right now. That was smooth as butter. As Astralis land every single smoke, the timing, the flashbangs, the shots, everything is perfect. All 5 players go down for FaZe. Not a single kill in return. Barely any damage, Vince. And that's going to be the full eco now at this point. 2K per player on the FaZe side, forced by not finding anything at all. Those are the best kind of executions to go for when you know the team's low on money. Definitely not going to have an AWP. Probably don't have incendiaries. And if they do somehow get a couple of kills, they probably don't have a kit. So that was actually excellently called by Astralis. Full eco now for FaZe. They do bring out 2 HE grenades. And eco towards the window at this point. You can see Astralis are kind of varying things up. They're not just doing the standard smoke. They're doing a much deeper one towards short to actually give more access towards middle. Double that up with the window smoke and you actually have the full area to yourself, which is connect to you can focus on at this point. Nico, you're in trouble, my friend. Goodbye. And he will be executed with the grenades. That's the second airstrike that's successful so far.
Just Astralis a step ahead of FaZe.
Yeah.
All along the path to victory, what they're hoping at least. Just USPs. And Astralis will make a move through onto the B side. About to find out that it's empty. Just going to check all the angles. A lot of teams will go for gimmicky plays. Maybe they'll stack 4 players on B on the boost. Device has taken a lot of damage, though, from the USP of Carrigan, who will go down to the hands of Dupree. They want to make sure they don't lose any weapons themselves. Yeah, in terms of the round, it's only going one way.
Yes, at this point, it's just whether they get any consolation from the stats. This could be one. Exist. So close, yet so far. Midges will be still on 21 HP. They don't need to go hunting for these last UCTs. Keep your rifles up. A couple of players very low indeed. Don't take any risks. You don't need to take these USPs down. You know they're probably not the one who's got weapons to lose. Here you can see Glaive, and he might be dropped. Dupree's lucky to bail him out. And 5 versus 1. Not really much Dupree can do with this. And Dupree, oh, he does actually find guard. I thought he was going to be having a bit of a task to find him, but there it is. The final kill comes in. 3-2, and will FaZe buy up around this one. They're hovering around the 4K mark. It looks like they've opted for yes, but this is going to be a very difficult recovery now. They need Guardian on that AWP, and Vince, he's on a scout. This is surely not ideal.
Guardian just hasn't been able to get an AWP going so far. Great news for Astralis, of course. Guardian is still a threat with the scouts. They can't take him lightly. Going to be pushing straight up mid. Rain, joined by a couple of his teammates, and Rain goes straight in. That flashbang was perfect on Dupree. Couldn't see a single thing. But the counteractive play is a fast B rush, and Carrigan cannot get anything done. Did a bit of damage, but it's not going to stop the bomb from being planted. Guardian is trying to take some ankles out on the way across, and will finally finish off Device. So things starting to turn around now for FaZe. Not great weaponry, but they're putting it down where it counts. Glaive looking for a second. That could have made this round a bit more interesting, but as it stands, Magisk back to the wall, back to kitchen, spots the first player. Didn't want to pull the trigger prematurely, and that's going to be another round.
Can you imagine they both go in the window and didn't check it? That could have been crazy. But I like that from FaZe, knowing the fact they've got barely any utility. No AWP, no diffuse kits. Let's go for an aggressive push towards middle. Let's get ourselves and work for it, that first kill. They managed to take down one at the very start. Guardian had to work extremely hard here for these final few kills of the scout. He did make it work though, and surely their money's starting to stabilize at this point. They managed to get a couple of AK-47s. They tie things up at 3-3. Dupree has the AWP, so he should have a very good spawn. He does. He's the best spawn available, and he'll be heading towards the B side. But watch out for that. Dupree trying to take down Carrigan here, hoping that he gets a bit aggressive. He'll be going for the straight-up pick. Carrigan is going to be on the other side as well. He'll jump up. Let's see if Dupree makes it there in time. Carrigan on the other side throws the smoke, and there it is. He'll be safe for now. Dupree waiting for his opportunity. He'll give that all back to Device at this point. Takes a grenade in the face in the process, so he's down to 57. So swapping things over. Back to Device, and it'll be a much slower default at this point. So you will see in-game leaders take advantage of good spawns sometimes, especially on these sort of maps. If you get the best A-ramp spawn, give the AWP to whoever's there, and try and get the player crossing towards connector. Same story of B, you can even go towards mid-window as well.
Silence falls on the battlefield. Just the bouncing of smoke to be heard. That's now going to bloom. Device using that opportunity to have a quick peek at short. Doesn't see anything, and Rain's been smoked out in mid. This is an angle that they've double-naded in the past, but Astralis want to hold on. Plus, they only have one HE anyway. With the smoke down, no point of using one of their 5 Molotovs that they still possess. In 50 seconds, they have so much more utility, and now they have more players on top of it. It's crumbling for FaZe. Finally, they win a round after 3, and they're looking like they could get reset instantly. Rain up in ladder room. Going to be dropping down, but it's going to take a huge play of one of these last 3 players if they want to pull it back.
A reaction has to come through from FaZe. Carrigan needs to be pushing B. Rain needs to be fighting a little bit more than he is right now. He's currently sat in CPO. It's a 5-on-3, leaving just one player alone in A. And you know who it is? Guardian. This time, M4A4 still can't find the AWP as of yet. Rain boosts himself up. He's going to try and find a couple of kills in towards middle. And that's the reaction we're looking for, Vince. Had to be more active than sat in CPO. Gets himself up in the vent. And this is looking very good indeed. Guardian can't find the second. Can it be converted down to the 1 versus 1? Mages, 3 seconds. He can't win the round. It's absolutely done. Rain has pulled it out of the bag there. It was looking like there was no chance of that round. 5 versus 3. Astralis taking way too much time to finally commit. It was smart in one sense, but Rain just outgamed them completely. This was the play that changed everything. They weren't aware of it. Caught grenades out. No idea where the kills are coming through. 3 seconds left for Mages, and the round was over. Frustrating for the Astralis boys, and it keeps FaZe in it, and Guardian's got an AWP now. This is where the game really begins.
Sure does, but should be mentioned that FaZe still not great for money. Astralis have dipped in deep to their bank accounts. Used a lot more than they were hoping for and comfortable with, but FaZe aren't out the woods just yet. Device, the meanwhile, can use that small gap in the smoke just to look at the van. Exist up to his right-hand side on the platform. And he's going to be joined by another 2 of Astralis, one of which is Magisk, who's taking point now for his team. Flashbang going to go in. Exist may very well think about peeking, but decides better of it. They're really trying to fake as if no one's out on the platform, and this could catch Astralis off guard. They're all focusing towards the site in short, and Altis comes through with a beautiful double spray, and he's still alive and kicking. 73 health, there's nothing to really get rid of him, and this play should win them the round, but that's a hell of a shot by Device, who's going to go in for a second one, and he may not be done just yet. 50 seconds left. They don't have to necessarily go for this. They could cut their losses, but Device is going to continue to peek onto the site. Slows down a little bit, not budging an inch. Now they think about backing away.
Couple of options at this point, Vince. 30 seconds, yes, could just save up the AWP. Keep the AK-47. Money is okay. They could buy up around them. They can drop a couple of weapons. Device and Zipex with 3K each. 20 seconds on the clock. Looks like they're being a little bit more assertive. They want a challenge for this, from what I can tell. It would be a fantastic round victory. It's only Guardian waiting for them on the A side. I say only Guardian. I mean, there was one player. He could hold them both off quite easily. We'll see if he can just get 1 kill here. Nails it. That's round done. 7 seconds. I really think they should have saved. But there we go. Might come through. A missed shot from Guardian. Oh my goodness gracious, he actually gets something out of it at least. He should have got that kill, but a rare miss from him. He still wins the round. Bomb planted in the smoke. He could see him. A little bit confusing at that point, but still. Round for FaZe, and it will be Astralis to give that one up. In terms of their buy, they're actually still pretty healthy. But that play in the B-bomb side, this is just a sign of things to come. This is going to be so much fun to watch. So much skill on the server right now. A lot of explosive players. Device doing everything he can. He's just getting warmed up. Him versus Guardian is going to be epic. 5-3 in favor of the international squad here. MP7 for Exist. I'm dropping that for Carrigan, I'm not sure. And there's a bit of a tactical pause here, just working out how Astralis are going to operate in round number 9 here. Galil for Glaive. It's unusual that the in-game leaders will be dropped that weapon. He did actually drop the AWP, I think, over to Device. I'll take that weapon. It's actually a very good buy overall. They've got the smokes, 4 Molotovs, 3 AKs, the AWP, and that Galil. Carrigan on the MP7. Both teams now weak in terms of finances. No one really running away in that sense of the game. Guardian waiting for his play towards middle. Jumps past the smoke. Uses the smoke to actually down The fire and connector there is going to be Exist, actively hunting for frags. Be Execution looking very likely here. All 5 players committed. Here come the flashbangs. Can Carrigan hold them off with the SMG? I'm not sure.
Survives long enough to throw out his Molotov, though, and that could do some serious damage. It's actually stopped half of the terrorists from pushing through and isolating the other 2 on very low health. Carrigan may have done enough. Even in death, he proves to be a nightmare. For Astralis, Zipex with 21 health. The clutching machine is about to come head-to-head with NiKo, who gets caught completely off guard.
He was meant to, I think he meant to jump towards short there. I think he was trying to do the jump out the window towards short, and he completely fluffed it.
That's given Zipex a prime opportunity now. Still, of course, the health favors Rain. But he's got to guess. It's pretty much a 50-50. Which side? Flip a coin.
The reason I say that is because if he jumps down there, you don't have your knife out, right? If you're going to jump down to a key choke point in that, you got to be ready with your gun out. Well, here we go. Zipex 1 versus 1. The clutch master up against Rain. One of the hardest hitting players in CSGO right now. Zipex does have an advantage. Gives away his position though with the smoke. Bomb planted. Rain's got smoke 2 flashbangs.
That smoke allows him to play the off angle, lands the headshot, and Rain has been put down. The pain continues for FaZe.
There it is, Zipex, perfectly played. You can see not only does that smoke give him a veil to plant the bomb, it also gives him cover to have a bit of a one-way there as he jumps up on the site, takes down Rain, and that's a huge, huge round for Astralis. It avoids the eco going forward, limits the money for FaZe. You can see they've got UMPs, CZs, Deagles, all for Guardian. He's got the glass cannon right now. He knows he needs to step up. He plays above the smoke right now, waiting for the flashbang, and he has to fall back. He feels too vulnerable there, and he'll be smoked out. Not really much he could do. You can see the kind of methodology they're trying to approach with here, with the aggression, trying to find opening picks, and Carrigan just to the Deagle, gets one. Is it enough? Needs a second here as he waits for backup.
He did a lot of damage to Mages, and he's finished off Dupree. Carrigan, single-handedly with his Desert Eagle, his trusty sidearm, is battering Astralis. Nearly lands another one. How much time does he have to stall here before the rest of his team get into position? Guardian's on short. The bomb has been dropped out just past default. And then meanwhile, NiKo's moving through B-Apps. If they were to lose this, Carrigan would feel devastated at the amount of work he just did.
That was so nice of the Desert Eagle. I've called him out at the start of the game, but I take it all back. He's ready to fight today. Deagle headshots coming in, and it could be enough as NiKo waits in the B apartments right now. His teammate Guardian heads towards shore. But Astralis are biding their time. They're letting the CTs doubt themselves. Let them go hunting for a bit of information, potentially make a mistake, and Glaive will be checking out the kitchen, just making sure everything's clear at this point. Looking towards the apartments, he knows he'll bait out NiKo here. Misses the shot, and NiKo could strike back.
Not budging an inch, Astralis, and that's going to allow Guardian to strike. He goes in for a second onto the Vice, through the bench, into the head. The skull has been shattered. As maybe the round will follow, or will it? Glaive comes back for his own kill. A bit of revenge onto Guardian. And now it's all down to Glaive, and he's going to get the upper hand onto NiKo. A 1v1 trade going the way of the in-game leader. Unbelievable.
He had the huge disadvantage there as well. NiKo outread him. He goes for the fake defuse, knowing that Glaive couldn't see the bomb in his current position. Glaive has to jump out the window. NiKo's ready for it and still gets the kill. After all the work Carrigan did, the shots Guardian was hitting, the wall bang through the bench vents, and it's still not enough to win the round. 5-5, and it has to be NiKo for FaZe at this point. Pistols only, and Device is looking for blood. He might have overcommitted with this one though. Still recovers, gets one, make it 2 with the grenade, and it's looking like a very, very quick round from Astralis there. 6-5, and we'll have a look if there's any money to buy. There is, but it's a very similar situation to what they were in before. No AWPs available. M4s, yes, might have to take some SMG compromises here. They do get 5 M4s out, 1 defuse kit, no incendiaries. Guardian, no grenades whatsoever. This has to be another aggressive play, I think. They have to try and find that first kill because they can't hold off an execution right now, and that's exactly where Astralis are heading. That good spawn we spoke about before. Device looking for it. Anyone crossing over to connector, he gets the call. And that's exactly what I expected. This is where FaZe trying to get that first kill, but unfortunately, Astralis are going to be going in towards A. There will be rotations from connector, but it's up to Rain first.
Man who's normally ice cool, but unfortunately this time, he really had no backup, Henry. That was asking so much of him. 5 players charging in his vicinity. The smoke's shielding the vision away from FaZe, allowing the comfortable bomb plant.
Might want to want to save at this point. You've got one kip, no grenades. There's a 5-on-4, the bomb's already down. You've got no control whatsoever. Karrigan's having an absolute stormer of a game here, and still, they'll give it a go. They're not going to be saving yet.
They're going to go in for this. Just a smoke and a flashbang. That Molotov designed to land on stairs. That's going to make it difficult for the peak for Guardian. And in fact, he's been put down. Now that allows Device to focus on one angle as opposed to two. And he will go to task. Exist has been destroyed, and so have FaZe. And their economy will follow. Can Nico maybe get a kill before this round's done? He's going to go in and shut down Zipex in the back, but there's still so much fun for the terrorists.
Perfect call from Glaive there. That's exactly what you want to do. When the money's low, we talked about it before. If I'm aware of it, of what FaZe might do, Glaive certainly is going to be as well. They're all tracking the money in their head, knowing what kind of loss bonus is coming into the CTs. Where would they be at right now? Can they afford the AWP? They'll probably try something aggressive here. Set piece off the bat, and it works out perfectly. And Nico does save the M4. Bit of a partial buy here. 4th stage loss bonus. 7-5 overall. Astralis on the T side of Mirage. Nico does have the saved weapon. dupreeh, same smoke towards short, buys him a bit more space. He can challenge connector a bit more together. There's more people available. There's no smoke right in the middle blocking vision. As now, that's a lovely shot by dupreeh. This Astralis machine is looking very good right now.
Karrigan again, though. He's going to be in the thick of it, but Magis does check his angles. It does seem like when it comes to the 1v1 duels, Astralis more often than not are getting the upper hand.
Yeah, absolutely. They look like their aim is crisper today. The AK-47s are perfect, and so far, the MVP for FaZe has been Karrigan, and that's great news for him, but unfortunately, that's very bad news for FaZe. He should not be the shining light of this team. You've got so many hardy. You've got Rain, who I can't even remember really anything he's posted of significance, really. He's on 7 kills, Nico 6 and 10, and it's just getting out of control at this point. 8-5 on the T side of Mirage, and remember, they lost a pistol here, Astralis. They're looking excellent today. Have a look at the scoreboard while we're here. Magisk, 13 kills, 7 deaths, proving he can continue that online form he's been showing here at the event. He's looked great so far. And everyone pretty contribute. We've got 3 players on double digits. Glaive 8, dupreeh 9, so it's very equal there. And it's going to be a double AWP setup now. Karrigan takes the AWP over towards the B site. Guardian, as usual, towards middle, waiting for those smokes to come through. I think Device this time will be operating towards Palace. He's trying to find the first pick here, just mixing things up a little bit. Looking towards jungle now. It's a bit of a scary prospect to walk around that corner and his challenge like that, but he's now got the upper hand, waiting for rotating players. Looking towards steps. Not found anything so far. Opening pick. That's such an amazing shot from Device. Rain can't even believe how that came in.
Especially as Nico was just around stairs, so the pure timing. As FaZe splashed the cash on a double AWP setup, it hasn't really paid out as of yet. Exist, though, will reply with 1. Magis gets flashed, can't see anything, spraying wildly towards the ladder room window. Unfortunately, that will finalize his fate. Bomb dropped back towards T-Spawn. It's going to take quite some time for Astralis to get their hands on this, and Device decides that he's just going to go for the kills instead. He's on the hunt.
Bomb down still in T-Spawn, Vince, but plenty of time remaining. Device just certainly right on the hunt, but his former MG leader waiting for him there in CT Spawn. Karrigan plucks off his head. dupreeh, he has to be the catalyst now for Astralis getting back into this one. In towards kitchen. Exist will have no idea, or does he? Does pre-fire the position, but there it is. dupreeh coming out on top. Bomb recovered, and that's the B bomb side wide open here. No kits once again. Karrigan on the AWP. Nico looks like he's almost dead already. Good night. That's it. Great shot from him. Karrigan, AWP in hand. I would be considering saving this now.
Certainly, especially as they put all of their life savings into this round. To have an AWP in the last round of the half would be a huge benefit compared to absolutely nothing. Karrigan, in the meanwhile, though, he's going to go in, and Zipex doesn't give him a chance to even see him. His head gets removed.
Really nice stuff from Astralis. It's patient. It's methodical. It's disciplined. Every situation, you can see they've got some sort of plan, something to work towards there. dupreeh knows he's got control of the B site, waiting for his teammate to come through, and this was the play. So, yeah, it was dupreeh. He's waiting for a call for his teammate, it's open, and look at the awareness, the timing, the cursor placement is just absolutely perfect. And it's the final round. The scouts out again. Guardian hasn't really done much of the AWP here today, Vince, and that's disappointing considering on the CT side, Device in a bit of trouble here, has to fall back knowing he could be chased there. Guardian, that's a brave pick to take, but that's much better from him. He deletes Glaive from the server, and that could be enough. 5-on-4 now in favor of FaZe.
Lightning fast headshot.
Yes.
Nothing Glaive could have done about that.
He might as well take the chance on that gamble, the pick right. Look at the weaponry they've got. He had the information, peeks out again, knows he has to hit the headshot. Of course he does it.
So for as much as the AWP hasn't been his ally, the Scout certainly has, but dupreeh again will pounce as ever. Rain, UMP in hand. One of the best players of ramp in the world, but Device with a CZ, of course, just runs straight out and puts them both down with authority. FAMAS is going to come out on top against dupreeh. Carrigan continues to frag. He's currently on 10 kills. Second top just behind Guardian, but here comes Exist, and he's going to land the headshot. So FaZe at least end the half in winning ways after going 6 rounds in a row to Astralis.
Well, there we go. The defuse comes in, and it will be 9-6. We're going to throw it down to Stunner on the tournament floor.
Tournament floor, right where you expected to find me, Henry. Thank you so much. And again, we appreciate everything that you two both do. Now, if you look at what we have here in front of you, you can take a look at Astralis. Feeling like they're comfortable right now, looking like they know what they're doing. And again, this is FaZe's map pick, so of course, they probably should get it together before we head into Nuke being the second one. Look a little rough for them, but who are you pulling for? Let me know by tweeting at me, #DHMasters, and let me know exactly how you feel. Henry G, take us back into the game.
I'm feeling excited, Trace. It's just warming up here, and we've pretty much split the difference. 9-6, FaZe pulling back that vital last round. Thank you, the opening pick there from Guardian. He finishes on 12 kills, but like I said, it doesn't feel like anyone on FaZe has got into that God mode when we're used to seeing in these big stage performances. I want to see more from Rain and Nico. Nico down at 7 and 12. Rain had one pretty decent round, but then 8 and 11 overall, and it's all about Astralis right now. Some of the big names set up for them. Device, 14 kills, top fragging right now, looking excellent. And I have to say the same for dupreeh as well. 12 for him, but the impact of some of those kills, the plays, the positioning, the flanks coming in behind enemy lines, it was just really nice to watch. And so far, Astralis, for me, looking like the much better unit. And remember, they won 9 rounds on the T side. It's considered a CT side of the map. This pistol means a lot for FaZe right now.
I guess if you're trying to look at the positives out of that, though, they've got 6 rounds without being on 100%, without getting all the cylinders firing. So if the likes of Nico, if the likes of Rain can really start to step things up, then FaZe will be in pretty good shape. But as you say, this pistol's very important. Bomb's going to be coming straight out of ramp. There's going to be Glaive on the staircase. Meg just behind him, effectively giving up the site for the time being. He's in a confrontation with 2 players through mid. It's going to be Rain that finishes off. Device, in the meanwhile, goes in for a kill. Glaive with a CZ, tapping his way into a frag onto Rain. And now suddenly Astralis look like they're in the driver's seat. The bomb still hasn't been planted either, but Guardian's going to return the favor.
That P250 is just such a menace. But speaking of which, here comes dupreeh. A ramp play coming in, misses the one bullet execution there, and that's giving up his position now. But Zipex, great work, finds Carrigan. 3 versus 2. They have not got a kit right now, and it's up to existing Guardian to hold them off.
Have to play aggressively with this CZ. You have to feel for Glaive, especially as he has the smoke. We moving in. dupreeh has met his demise. Guardian, the executioner, onto Zipex 2, and now it's all down to that man once again. Shifting across to the USP. No bullets left in that CZ, and Guardian is going to make sure there's no health on top of it. And FaZe have picked up the second pistol.
That's why he buys that weapon. It's called a bit of a Superman purchase. When you get the P250 out, it means you can go toe-to-toe with the CTs. You have one-tap potential, as you can see on your screens right now. Absolute beast mode from Guardian there. Much-needed pistol in the bag, and the P250 coming out on top. It was an advantage for Astralis as well, so very well played to Guardian. And we're not going to see much of a force buy from Astralis. This is one of the few teams that I really like the way they approach their finances. They don't force buy every single time in the second round. They know the Deagles have that one-tap potential. Let's keep the money strong. We have an advantage right now. We don't have to win this round. Let's make sure we have armor, we have helmets, we have diffuse kits, utility, and maybe even an AWP in the first gun round here. So I like that a lot. Execution from FaZe, maybe an A-split as the smokes and flashbangs come in. Device will be holding them off with the Deagle. Whether that's going to be enough, I'm not sure.
That's all been a ruse, though. The bullets that were sprayed out
trying to mask the rotation to B, but Dupree's having none of it. Nico, in the meanwhile, lone wolf, solo mission, needs to wait for the cavalry to arrive. And the UMP is going to get taken down by the AK-47 wielding Dupree, who has the only Kevlar on the team. And FaZe have already conceded 2 kills, and it could get a lot worse as Dupree goes in for the spray. Zipex with a P250. The bomb's been dropped out and exist in mid, just wondering, what happened?
They didn't look at CPL. They didn't consider it whatsoever. No flashbang going in there. They didn't smoke it off, just ran past and didn't even look in there. Dupree, ready and waiting, CZ in hand, close range. You better believe he's going to find kills. And there's 5 players surviving. They didn't even force fins. This is an absolute nightmare for FaZe. It just might even get this kill, but no. Dupree, another sensational round from him. And it will be double digits for Astralis at this point. FaZe might want to take a time out here. Do they force buy? They've already answered the question. They will be picking up CZs here. Oh, great weapon. He's the only player that had armor, just to know, Dupree. And it meant he could actually take those bullets. So that's actually the godlike purchase right there. That's just one small, tiny variable that some people wouldn't consider. If he doesn't have armor, he doesn't win that round, but he bought it, and it worked out for him.
It really is just a dream situation. Not only do you win the round when you're on a pretty much an eco, but then you pick up all the weapons, you soak up all the weapons from your foes, and now they can use them against them. However, Carrigan, he's still firing some headshots.
Yeah, Dupree pretty much got that bloodlust out of the connector, looking for whatever he can find there, and great shot by Carrigan. It's one ain't over just yet. Rain finds the second kill. They have the man advantage still, as Nico makes his way towards the side. Bomb still in T-spawn, but Nico looking for those headshots. It's going to be up to Device here. If he can get this kill, they should be okay. Oh, he's done for. He's absolutely done for. Nico will take him down. Luckily he gets one before he's dropped, but this round just heating up now exists with another 2 versus 1 for Glaive.
This game continues to give. Just when you think. I think he does maybe think this is B.
Oh no, he's jumping up towards the window.
Jumping into the window, yeah, to try and get the move into jungle instead. He's going to be sideswiped by Nico, and FaZe, not deterred by their previous missteps and mistakes, they're right back in. And that's going to hurt Astralis deeply.
That's what we want, though. We want to see this one be uncomfortable for both teams. We'll see whether this saved M4 of Glaive. Oh, he actually bought the M4. I beg your pardon. He spent 4 grand here. He actually did go down, didn't he? So, round number 19. It is the force by this time. CZ's Deagles as scouts. The M4 and Glaive through the smoke. Finds one. Quickly replied by Exist there. Surely that's the commitment. Knowing the M4's gone down, it will be recovered by Magisk. And they're going to fall back. Nico will stay there. He is known as the Palace player. Drops a pretty wide smoke. He can be spotted there. If he overcommits, he could go down. He'll be looking to find Magisk here. Spots his head and removes it.
By design, Nico smokes, peeks, and frags. Astralis. I mean, that opening trade that Glaive got looked good, but all things considered, a 1-for-1 trade when he's probably got your best weapon and the rest of your team doesn't have much, that's not really good enough for Astralis. They needed to have a couple players drop there from FaZe, a 2-for-1 trade to kick things off. But we've already seen that in terms of weaponry, it hasn't really mattered a great deal in this match. It's been so back and forth. Gonna flash into connector, have 3 players pushing there. It's only Nico who's still in Palace and hasn't joined them, and now that Exist has found Zipex, this round should, and I use that term loosely, be over, but Device has landed a scout shot in midair. Dupree goes on to Carrigan. The bomb is being planted.
Let's try to go for the wallbang. I don't think this is possible now. 3 AKs to find. Scouts at a CZ, no kits. They might just be better off saving whatever they can at this point.
Yeah, it's looking like a save. Can't really get a great deal behind this, but at least it gives them a bit of firepower to play off. And again, they'll have a round lead. It's not as if they're desperate for rounds right now. It's all about the bigger picture. But FaZe will be delighted considering how poorly that second round went, that they finally stabilized and they are still dragging their way back into it.
Yep, not over by any stretch of the imagination. Good round by FaZe. Nico and Exist getting it done with the AK-47s. There will be a scout saved at a UMP. I don't think that's going to be too much to handle, though, in the next round. That was the force buy from Astralis. They maintain the lead for now, 10-9 in their favor on the CT side. don't think much more can be purchased here than maybe a couple of PT-50s. So the Scouts are not really a multi-frag weapon, but it can weaken up the opposition for the pistols to do some work. Let's see whether Device will be able to find some damage here at the very beginning. He'll be looking towards middle of players, jumping across. Here comes the Molotov towards Connector. Smoke comes in his position as well. What does he really do with this one? This has to fall back towards the CT spawn area, it seems.
So far, so good. FaZe able to shut down any aggression. They can't stop Dupree from nailing Rain, though. Although Exist will make sure that he doesn't double up. As it stands, FaZe still certainly the favourites to claim this round and make it theirs. The Device with the aforementioned Scout, who's now moved into B-Apps. He's going to have to strike, you feel, once or twice at least.
He is in the B apartments right now. He has got a bit of a duel going on. Terrorist aware of the damage that can inflict. Just leave him alone. Let's just let him have that one. We'll fall back towards A. Players already in the connector. Glaive in the Palace, though. That could be a little bit interesting here. Unfortunately, he doesn't have armor, but he does have the CZ. Just waiting for his teammates. Guardian will strike in the next few seconds as Nico commits out the A round.
You'd think that FaZe would realize this, though, and they have moved in with enough time to deal with Palace. It's not as if they've got 5-10 seconds left and have to charge in. And exactly, they had a player up on Tetris, I believe that was Exist, who was watching Palace the whole time. And as soon as Glaive showed his face, it was ripped off. Magisk is able to claim an AK. That would be a decent takeout of the round, if nothing else. But in terms of the scoreline, it's going to be all even at 10 apiece.
Absolutely is. FaZe have won both pistols in this game, just to note that. Magisk looking to save the AK-47, hasn't got armor. He'll be currently positioned in T-spawn. He's got his disc coming towards him, but I feel like Magisk got this kill quite easily. There it is. Takes it down. And now it's just trying to save the AK. He currently has $2,600. It looks like Nico will find a match. And indeed he will. And we'll tie things up, Vince, 10-10. And now this is where the game comes to a head. We're going to see full buys on either sides. AWPs will come out surely, and we'll see if Astralis can get back into this. Or 3 rounds in a row now, only 1 to their name on the CT side, and that was an eco victory with 1 CZ and armor on Dupree. Found 3 kills after losing the pistol. Device does buy the AWP. Have a look at his spawn. I'm always interested in that. It's quite good towards A. He could go for a Palace play right now, and that's one of the common positions. You either want to be going like B apartments aggressive, Palace. You can go towards the A ramp as well. We've got players like Fallen going for that initial pick. And there was a timeout, and we'll see whether this will be looking promising now, as it was Astralis that called that one. They have not got a single kit, I will say that. Decent utility, lacking some incendiaries. Whether we'll see a change of stance from Astralis now, maybe they'll try and get aggressive. We shall see. Device with that good spawn, remember, could go towards Palace, actually opting to go straight in towards the A-ramp pick. Player there, takes down Rain, great shot.
Instantly alleviates the pressure from the A site too, so it means that Astralis don't have to funnel too many players over to the other side of the map. They can focus on B. Bomb still slap bang in the middle of T-spawn though. So FaZe not going to have any fast plays for the time being. They are going to go back and pick it up in the hands of Carrigan, however. But that was such good news for Astralis. After losing 4 of the 5 rounds on this half, your economy is in pretty rough shape. You have no kits. To get that first kill was simply phenomenal for Device to get.
Yeah. Great spawn, gets there. It was Rain who had a great spawn as well. He was trying to use the AK to get any players coming towards the A side, pick them up, certainly capable of doing it, but didn't expect the Device there with the AWP. 5-4 for Astralis. That's a job done at this point. No more aggression has to be implemented. As we'll fall back towards A. FaZe still have their smokes, flashbangs, and they'll just probably smoke up spawn, knowing Device is likely there, and maybe smoke the connector as well. They've only got 2, so need to work out what's going to be the best way to try and get in towards the bomb site. Luckily for them, Device is actually towards B right now, so the AWP is not on that side of the map. It's actually a very passive hold from Glaive and Magisk.
And the utility that they do possess is now being tossed out. Perfect timing, allowing Glaive to open up, and he will connect onto Nico's head. From a similar position, we saw Crim's rain hell on his foes. Glaive is looking to do more of the same. The bomb's been dropped, and that should be the round following. Is there realistically any chance that Guardian Exist can get anything done in this round? No, they're out. They want to save.
solid effort by Astralis. They haven't even lost a single point of health between them.
Yeah, just a really nice round there. Glaive, did you see the awareness and the discipline coming through there? Good flashbang. Eradicating the risk, he knows that there won't be multiple targets looking at him. Someone's going to get blind from that. Bounces it off the steps, gets one, goes into hiding, shoulder piece, gets the information, calls for a flashbang from his teammate, takes him down, funnels exist back to the A ramp. And sure, they saved 2 weapons, but that's fine. You've kept all 5 players alive here. And Glaive, he's had a stunning tournament so far, and this was no different. Really solid, educated play. The smoke he put down in the Palace to give him that freedom to go for those kills, just when they went for their commitment as well. Really enjoyed that. And as we get into round number 22 here, there will be one more buy available for FaZe. We'll still have the AKs, the AWP of Guardian, obviously saving 2 weapons. Guardian this time going towards Palace, trying to challenge anyone on the other side. Device in spawn, but now 3 players in this area. This will be a flash attack, I think. And Nico to flash them over and try and set them up. Here's the flashbang. 3 players will just bundle out the A apartments as soon as he throws his fence.
There was a smoke down, hence the small delay and a Molotov.
They have to wait. They can't run through that. They'll take 50 damage per player.
It's not worth it.
They might have to cancel the tactic altogether. They've said it's not worth it. Like, the fact they know we're coming here. We've only got 1 flash now. Let's just call it off. Go back to a default. Still early days in the round. They wanted the flash attack. Didn't work out, and that's fine. Sometimes you have to cut your losses and realize that idea was good. Didn't work out. Let's go back to a default.
The power of 1 single incendiary.
Yep, absolutely.
Bomb at spawn again. So they're just going to dust themselves off. Recollect themselves, think of what needs to happen. Guardian's going to go out and slow peek. It's right, not going to telegraph this peek, and May just decides that he's going to take the initiative in mid. And he will be rewarded with Carrigan. 40 seconds. FaZe certainly in a sketchy, shaky position. Rain, though, has somewhat made this a lot easier, though, in the sense that he's gone onto Magus. That connector control isn't quite as prevalent as before. Another Molotov is going to keep Nico at bay. 25 seconds now. Dupree's got CT side covered. Glaive's on stairs once again. They've got a decent crossfire established. The smoke is going to play hell with his aim, but he's still able to get it done onto Nico. Bomb's going to start to get planted. It's going to be all focused on the retake now, and Glaive has struck again. Dupree and Device stuck in CT spawn. They're going to have to contend with Exist and Guardian. A 2v2 now falls upon the server in the 22nd round. Dupree lands a ridiculous shot onto Exist mid-air. Guardian, he's clutched these in his sleep before. This is a whole different beast altogether. Device and Dupree both going to be chiming together, trying to fake this out while the full defuse goes into effect, and Device gets the kill all the same. Astralis 2-round lead.
That's so good from Astralis. They're looking amazing on the CT side. Glaive especially, he's been my MVP this half. Absolutely so. He's just playing such a perfect game of CS there. Going for the really smart frags. Nothing too flashy, not trying to pick loads of heads off, just making sure he goes for a calculated risk, goes for a kill, gets back into hiding, calls for flashbangs, and then Guardian, yes, known to clutch those sort of rounds, but as soon as the smoke lands on the bomb, you do not want an offense. You want the AK, you want the full spray coming in, and the smoke was cleverly placed, nice wide defuse, and then Device covering the pick, and obviously Guardian can only shoot for the defuser. Device takes him down, 12-10, bomb planted, and FaZe are still down to a partial buy now. 12-10 is the scoreline overall. We're going to see Deagles, CZs, PD50s, 3 smokes. I'd like to see a B approach this time. Maybe 2 smokes towards the archways and B, smoke the kitchen, flash over, try and get that bomb down. They will actually be opting for an A-side attack, pretty standard. This used to work so well when we had Tech 9s in the game, but not so much anymore. It's good for a bomb plant, the CZ. This doesn't really have the range the Tech 9 did and the run and gun potential.
Play once again. Perched up on top of the stairs, going to get flashed and smoked out of position. They should afford FaZe a bomb plant, but they'll realize at this time it's just pistols, so they can bide their time. They don't mind FaZe getting a bomb plant. They're going to have a buy in the next round anyway. It's all about getting this cleaned up as soon as possible. Dupree through the smoke and Device. Double D combo coming into fruition once again, and it's just too easy for Astralis. Okay to give that bomb plant, because the rest has been one-way traffic, and Carrigan, who's scurrying around mid. That flank is not going to do any good at all for FaZe. 13-10 lead, Astralis now opening up.
And that's, again, brilliant from Astralis. No one panicked. No one runs through the smoke and tries to stop the bomb going down. Accept it. You're going for a retake. Let's go in together. Power in numbers. Keep our money strong. They get an extra $800 per player. Sure, they're going to be buying them next round anyway. Let's make sure we win this round cleanly. And Carrigan calls it a timeout. Things getting a bit dicey now for him. Scoreline in the second half, it's 4-4. Last 3 rounds have gone in favor of the Danes. AWP for Device. They don't need the double AWP right now. Dupree brings it out when they're desperate sometimes, but I don't want to take that M4 out of his hands right now. It's looking perfect. The rifles for him do not get him off him. And the Guardian does have the AWP fins, but he does not have armor at all. That's what we call the glass cannon. And this is the timeout from FaZe. If I'm Astralis right now, I'm going aggressive. I'm changing the pace right now. We haven't seen a really hyper-aggressive round. I'm sending 3 players up towards middle. I'm getting the AWP in towards B apartments. Maybe do something completely different, knowing the FaZe are trying to adapt and change things up.
Just to fully counteract and mind game
they're doing it.
all this tactical
Glaive
play.
and Dupree towards middle. Glaive's jumped down to the underpass, so it's not super pushy, but it's going to be going for that first pick. Glaive doesn't spot anything, but there are players there.
They do, however, know that underpass is clear, that mid doesn't have too much presence in it, so they can change accordingly. Glaive now spots the head. I believe that may have been Guardian at the top of the steps. Rain is also there. Yep, Guardian down to 11 now. Carrigan also tagged up. Not a great start for FaZe, especially after the timeout was called.
Yeah. Guardian removed by Device.
Just got a whole lot worse.
This is what you want to see from him as well. As soon as he gets 1 kill, he's shown presence of B. You know, I'm out of here. I'm going towards A. I'm going to funnel them. They're going to be scared of me. He knows he's in the zone right now. And Nico, he needs to find that sort of form as he comes in towards... Oh my God, he's on the ladder! It almost fell apart. He's good for 1. Could have been a lot cleaner than that. But for anyone who's not aware, if you're on the ladder, you do not have accuracy with the AK, even at that range.
Goes all over the place. Does get it done, but it took so long that it was an easy retrade. A refrag for Astralis, so the 2-player advantage remains intact.
Yeah, he would have been better off just getting down and maybe just hanging out with the player for a little bit, seeing what's available. Obviously, that's great hindsight, but pulled the trigger a bit too early. Rain done for here. Great positioning by Device. Carrigan, Vince, it's a 4 versus 1. In terms of loss bonus, there'll be a 4th stage next round. That won't be enough for a buy. $2,900 plus the $500 they have right now. Unless he somehow gets a plant, they are going to be in a lot of trouble next round.
It's not going to happen. Zipex, perfect timing on the connector peak. And there was also a play in the form of Glaive that was on A side anyway. So it's going to be 14-10. And keep in mind that the start of this half was very poor for Astralis. It was looking like FaZe may romp away for the win.
I've said this a lot before, but whenever Nico seems to get on these stages, that's when sometimes he's lights out and the absolute beast are known to be sometimes almost non-existent, looking very average. Right now, very much so at the bottom, 12 and 18. Rain's there as well, 12 and 19. Those are the headline acts of FaZe, and they can't get going here at all. They haven't found the space because they're losing the first pick consistently. Astralis are playing a very disciplined game. They're giving the openings. Great teamwork coming in. And Device, he's in that Devo mode we talk about so much. Everywhere on the map. Finds kills, different location. Goes back towards middle, comes back towards B, watching the flanks. And desperate times for FaZe. They won't be forcing into this one. It's a partial buy. You can see they've kept the money about $1,500. CZ smokes. Looking down the barrel of map points here on their pick. They go to Nuke next, and FaZe presumably haven't played a lot of Nuke. We casted it once in Pro League, but they played LDLC. Wasn't the cleanest of games. And now, B execution. Been waiting for this. Who's waiting for them? It's Zipex, and he's very good in these scenarios. That grenade. Oh, it does a lot again.
Nearly 150 damage worth.
We'll take that.
And FaZe, well, they quite literally took it on the chin, and they just have to stand there now, stunned. Do we still go for this B hit? Do we change things up again? One bit of utility changes everything. Zipex is lining up. Potential pop flash. Dupree's going to be stood there with him too. They're going to wait for this smoke, I assume, to clear before they try any plays. But no real reason to. However, the smokes are now going to be coming in, but it's looking like FaZe are going to send a couple players away from B-Apps. Interestingly enough, was that a fake? Did they just throw out all their utility?
Thing is, if it is, it's not going to do much for them.
No.
You can see there's still 3 players pretty much on the A side. They know the money's low, Astralis. They're not taking any bait here. And we're still committed towards the B side. FaZe will come through. Dupree hasn't missed much so far. Can't connect the AK spray, but through the smoke he'll get one. Zipex so good in these situations, waiting for his opportunity to strike. And it's just going to be an absolute bloodbath here. The human rubble of FaZe all over the place. 15-10 map points in this best of 3. It's our 3rd quarterfinal of the day, and FaZe looking very flat indeed. Could be the last round here. They took the partial buy up to this point. 4 AKs now, 1 AWP, which doesn't have a helmet. And they have got utility, but they need 5 rounds in a row just to take us to overtime. Remember, they want both pistols on this map as well.
shows how dominant Astralis have been in these rifles, especially on the CT side. The last 5 rounds going their way with just 2 bomb plants on the side of FaZe. As they come through with Guardian, 17 kills. His AWP hasn't quite been on the level you'd expect, and certainly not close to device. Glaive has been flashed, can't see a single thing. Snowstorm descends and exists. The one tap onto device while running around the corner. Rain lands his own headshot, and FaZe proving that this isn't done just yet. They have a few more tricks up their sleeve. Zipex nearly getting the spray transfer, but 1 kill at least is going to go his way, but the round itself has been smashed by FaZe.
Yeah, great stuff by Exist there. Nice kills towards that connector. 4 versus 1. Zipex is good in the clutches, but this one might be a bit out of his reach. If he just finds a couple of kills here, that'd be fantastic. The bomb goes towards B. What is that? Looking for the ace now. All of a sudden, this is possible. Carrigan surely outpositioned him. Easy kill, but still, that's going to make things very uncomfortable. They're going to have to make a couple more compromises into the next one. 15-11. Astralis with plenty of money here, and his Exist getting it done towards that connector.
This
Glaive.
is a ridiculous shot.
Yeah.
Like, what? Even in slow motion.
It was
That
fast.
ridiculous.
Well, there we go. Like I said, still going to be struggling a little bit here. Won't be fully equipped. You see Guardian Nico about a full array of utility. Same story for Exist. So those kills will worth a lot. It could just be the difference between winning a clutch or not. If you don't have a flashbang or an HG grenade or a Molotov, for example. So it all counts. Every kill in CS has a knock-on effect.
Well, truly terrifying aspects of this performance by Astralis, though, is that everyone really has pulled their weight. Sure, Device and Dupree have been the 2 plays that have really shone the highest and the brightest, but everyone's been doing a solid job. Carrigan, early doors, battered down to 18 health. Consistently going to be on the back foot now as he rotates through T-spawn. Close proximity to Nico. Bomb dropped in ramp, going to be salvaged. Looking like we have an A hit on our hands here, Henry, but Device again, you would not put it past him to land a few kills. He's going to miss the first, but in fact, I think he did tag Guardian partially through the wall down to 7.
This could be it, Vince. 5 on 4 now. Exist makes his way towards the side, but Astralis is so good at these retakes.
Smoke in the eyes of Device. Still 2 HEs, and when you have 2 players this low, you've got a grimace in anticipation for what could be. The bomb's going to get denied. The hands of Zipex. Glaive now going to use that smoke as cover. They expect him to be in there. Exist tries to do what he can to control connector side. But at the end of the day, it's looking like Astralis will be victors on Mirage. 25 seconds. Nico, 100 health to his name, but he hasn't been that Nico that puts fear into his enemies. Guardian now going to go for the peak. He's the next to fall. Flash in the eyes of Nico. That's it. The round's done, surely. And there we have it. Mages puts the final nail in the coffin. We're moving to Nuke.
What a fantastic performance from Astralis. That's a championship contender right there, Vince. That's someone who can be lifting the trophy at this event. If we see more of that, there's no doubt in my mind they're going to the finals in this tournament. That was absolutely brilliant from them. 16-11. FaZe looks stunned there. Their key players not showing up. They've won both pistols, and they're still looking very flat. 16-11's our scoreline. Have you got any final thoughts on that one?
With a performance like that, I can't see how someone's going to stop Astralis.
On Nuke especially, where FaZe are going to look uncomfortable. That's a map that's getting better and better for Astralis. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. That has been a lot of fun. It is going to be Nuke next, so do not go anywhere. This one is just heating up in our third quarter final. We'll be right back.
Place your bets at gg.bet.